Welcome everyone to February Power Hour. I am Tessa, I live in Indiana, joined by Megan Jax, who is out in Washington State for a little bit longer. And so we're going to do two layouts tonight. We're going to start with me and we'll finish with her. So we will flip down to my table. There we go. So I did not have pictures on tonight's layout, the demo layout, because I had the cute idea, but I didn't really have pictures ready to go for it. So this is my little throwback to Halloween, Valentine's Day. Um, I thought we would play with the custom cutting system a little bit tonight and the scoring blade and give ourselves just a little peekaboo of extra embellishment. And so you guys all know I love one-page layouts, and so that's what this is. But if you want to, you can just do a mirror image and have two also. So the gemstone custom cutting system is currently available from Creative Memories. It has two hearts, one large, one small, and that is how I made this layout. However, obviously we want to go beyond hearts for layouts for the rest of the year. And so tonight I'm going to actually work with some hexagons, but this is a layout easily adaptable to using circles, ovals, even rectangles. The intent is that you choose two of different sizes. They'll kind of give you this double layering look. And then ideally, if you have maybe smaller punch, the heart is probably the easiest example to have because we usually all have various size hearts. There's a few others to accent or maybe to pop up. We have I'm going to use the hexagons. And so in the gemstone is this little mini hexagon. And then if you're old school and have the pink oval pentagon hexagon set, there's a hexagon there, and then we add a hexagon punch. And so that's what I'm going to play with tonight. But again, circles and ovals or the rounded rectangles that we have now would all work. If you do use circles or ovals or the rectangles, then obviously with circles you could use circles, but you could just use an icon or of whatever embellishment sort would work with your layout. So for the layout, you need a base paper and you need one that you can turn down. So you need to like both sides. Ideally, you just want one side that's directional in case that it's printed, because this to see the print upside, we have to have it upside down. And so you need to make sure that however you want to flip down your paper, the top side still works also. Then you just need something to put behind here. This is a 3-inch strip, so you don't need a full sheet. You could either choose a print or choose something light so that your embellishments will pop off of it. And then some paper to cut out whatever custom cutting system that you choose. This is a little bit smaller than a 6-inch. This is like 5 7/8. That's just because that's the width of the scrap I had left. But this would fit 4x6 photos. So you could add peekaboos to have extra photos. And then we're going to talk about cutting your photos. So how many of you remember when I did not do this? This is a little before my time when people would trace and cut with the templates, and then you had pictures of like every different size and shape. And it just was like a horrible design because you'd have picture and then smack a star picture in the middle of your page, and we thought they were adorable, right? And so we kind of got away from cutting our pictures into shapes. But with this layout, I think you can get away with it because it's intentional in the design, and we're not just slapping a random shaped photo down onto your page. And so the nice thing about the hearts is if you are using 4x6 photos, both of these are cut with the smaller gemstone heart, and it is about 4 inches. So you can cut a 4x6 and get that shape out of there if you want to do photos down here. Or you can use a title bar or for journaling or just have extra paper or whatnot. And okay, so tonight I'm working with riveting. I'm going to use my hexagons. It's also going to be a one-page layout. So my dad was in construction for many years. He's actually an attorney now, but he went back to school when I was in college. So for my growing up years, he was in construction. And so he passed that on to my brothers. And so a couple of them, well, three of them, they're all three of them are actually still involved in construction in some way. But my brother sent me these photos of my nephews on top of the house he was roofing. I don't want to know. I don't want to ask questions. They're obviously safe but they're like 4 and 2. And so we're going to ignore the safety factor. Obviously, they made it alive. But I have these pictures of them. I was like, well, this would be perfect to use with the new riveting collection. And so I chose this blue as the base paper. So the back side of it, so this is kind of a monochromatic tone on tone, and that will work well. The back side of it is this hexagon hex design. So it will work no matter which way I have it flipped. Then I want to find a print, something that would work well to layer with my hexagons. One thing I forgot to point out with the custom cutting system, the nice thing about having the different blades is we can cut them in several layers. And that's where a lot of the texture and design comes in. And so with this heart, I used obviously the brown. And so I'm thinking with the hexagon, I'm going to use this tulle print. And then I have a couple of sheets of gray cardstock to layer in with those. So that's what I'm going to be working with tonight. It's pretty simple design. So I have to talk a lot just to even pretend like I'm going to get to my 25 minutes. I'm just kidding. But you do need a pencil and you need your trimmer and you need a scoring blade. We do have one little step that we have to do to score for our fold. So you want to orient your paper, like know which way that you're going to fold it. Make sure that your design is upright. Like I said, you might have to flip your paper so your design is upside down. It doesn't matter with this one. And then on the side that we're going to fold, we're just going to make 2 little pencil marks where we want to score. And so one of them is going to be 5.5. Just the nice thing about the pencil is that it's shiny. Gotta make sure I can see my handout that I told you all right. Yep, 5.5, and then 2.5 on the side. So just enough for you to see the little shiny lead on your paper. And then we're going to use a scoring blade. I like how some of you are confessing in the chat that you cut pictures into shapes. I didn't do much more than circles and ovals. I might have had a couple of random ones, but those were beyond my time, before my time. Okay, so I'm going to put this on the trimmer. I'm going to stop, make sure I can see my pencil marks. And I want them along the dotted line. And then we're going to score between. If your blade cuts through scoring, you need to flip your mat. So you should not get a tear or anything, but if you do, then you probably have a jagged line onto your trimmer. You need to just flip that. So you have your scoring line, and then you can go ahead and just fold it down, and it will fold so easily. So nice. I don't use a scoring blade very much, but it is quite helpful. I'm going to go ahead and flip back to my straight blade now. And I need a 3-inch strip of paper to layer behind here to cover my corner. And the back side of my tools is this gray. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to cut 3 inches. And so before you adhere, if you want, you can go ahead and adhere down your fold, just dot a little repo tape behind there. And then you can assess your decision making. Do you like what you chose together? So the reason, again, why I chose something solid is so that I can tuck my embellishments up in there. I will probably punch a couple of hexagons, but I was also thinking it's possible I might use like this one to pop out of the corner. I thought would be really cute. I'm pretty sure that's the direction I'm going to go. But if you want something different, like I said, the back of this is a print. It would be cute to pop the print out. If you opt to have a print up there, which is totally fine, you probably aren't going to be able to put many shapes there to pop out unless you're using a very dark contrasting solid cardstock, or else you're just going to lose the effect of it. But it's cute also to have the tools popping out. So, of course, now that I look at it on camera, I'm like, that is really cute. Should I stick with my gut and pop in the embellishments or go with the tool? So I have the benefit, I don't have to adhere this yet. So if you're not sure, you can wait. So we'll wait and see what else we're going to do and how it will look. I have one vote for the gray. Okay, here's my photos. So let's talk about cutting the photos a little bit with shapes. I have my blades. So here are the two 4x6s I have. I could trim them down a little bit. I haven't trimmed them yet. So kind of want to see, make sure I trim consistently. I don't need this. We'll get that one out of the way. So after Meggan challenged me, I went ahead and cut my hexagons to save time. So I cut the large one with the red blade. So when you're cutting on the outside, the red will get closer, the blue gets bigger. I did not anticipate matting this anymore, so I just used the red, but I could cut with green or blue to make it bigger. And then I cut a set, a mat. So when I'm using the inside, like I did here, the red has to be the mat. So if I want to cut a picture in the inside, it has to be the green blade or the blue blade. I have a picture here of one of my nephews. It's not the best picture. I mean, he's just kind of looking down, but it's part of the scene and it would look cute down there. I went ahead and cut another set too. So this was the same. It's the red blade on the inside. And then with the inside of the gemstone hexagon, I cut with two of the blades to give me two more layers to layer. So you can see I do have a good selection of the tool paper. I see a lot of it. So I kind of lose the effect of it down here because I have this much. So I probably will go back to this and then pop the embellishment, but we'll let it sit and see. So when you're cutting photos, like I said, here is one I originally cut with the red blade. So sometimes you're deciding, okay, can you cut the photo with the shape? If you have the sizing templates, it can help you. A couple of tips. Number one, you're going to have to give yourself a great pressure because the photo tends to slip in the template. Sometimes it's easier when we're cutting on larger pieces of paper because our arm or whatever can kind of hold the paper down. When you have a smaller photo and you're cutting on the inside, it can get a little slippery. But at first I used the red blade because I was like, well, I don't want to cut off too much of his feet or head. And I was like, well, that's a bad decision because I can't mat it. And it's going to look better if I can mat it. So I needed to go back and cut it with green or blue. And so when I cut it with green, I lose his feet, lose a little bit of his head, but I feel like overall you can't tell. And so sometimes it's okay to cut into your picture a little bit. It's really an accent photo. And then I don't know if I'm going to use these or not, but I had another picture he sent me that just had their faces. So I cut those out of the inside of this one with, I think probably the blue blades. I think these are blue. It might have been green. So I can mat it with the next one larger. So if I wanted to, I could put their faces in here. Now you don't want to get too carried away. If you have too many hexagons, you're going to lose the effect of it. I feel like adding this one might be a bit much. You know, I have him there. I could have him here. I could turn it like that and have their faces. And then for accent, I use the embossed hexagon to punch a couple icons. I used a little bit of the tool paper, so I have a little bit of tool embellishment. I tried to make sure I got different parts of the paper, and then a couple of just with the cardstock. You can just kind of layer them around. They are sweet faces. They are very sweet boys. And then in my corner, like I said, I could pop in a little bit of embellishment up there. The other nice thing, I didn't even know this when I chose this, in the riveting, it came with the embossed epoxy, not embossed, epoxy little hexagons. And so this actually would give me the same effect as those little tiny mini hearts because I can scatter those around whatever I put down. I do have a question about the blades. So on the heart layout, this was the red blade on the outside and then red blade for the pink. And so it's red, green, blue. Because I have 3 cuts here on the small one. So blue, green, red. And then here it is, looks like red and green. And then this is red on the outside. I always play with scrap paper if you're not totally sure. For pictures, I printed these twice. I printed them here at home on my Epson, so I could kind of see what works best. I don't have the new cool gray yet. That's coming, but this is the old gray, and I think it's probably going to be similar. My box comes tomorrow, so I will be able to see what it looks like. So if I wanted to do all 3, I could trail those off the page a little bit. So just be intentional. You don't want to throw up your shape all over the page. So you want to have an intent and design by clustering them, really sticking with kind of 2 main ones and then some little ones. Or if you have an extra sweet face, you could throw it down there too. For my journaling, I will cut a little square right here. I don't want to add a square, a hexagon here to journal. It's going to be too much. I'm going to lose the effect of the design here at the bottom. So just a rectangle one, like I did on the heart page, will be what I use to journal. If I also could have just left off the little faces and layered in, something to journal there. It is I do think it's helpful to have a peek of the design if you can't see a lot of the print, because it pulls the color in, because I could easily journal there also. And then for these photos, so I want to I think I could trim them down a little bit. If I want to mat them, I definitely will trim them down to make them fit on 4x6s. I could probably even get away with like 5 3/4. I have a lot of extra here. I don't want to lose the effect of them being on the roof. If I trim them down too small, you're not really going to be able to tell. I like the perspective of the rooftop. So at the most, I would probably just cut off maybe like a 1/4 inch or 3/8 off of the edge, and then just sliver cut down enough to fit on a 4x6 or 4x5 and 7/8 or so. Um, I would trim those down, but I already packed my trimmer. I thought I was done cutting my photos, so I won't really cut those down. Okay, so I think I have my plan. I think I like my gray up here better, so I do need to go back and adhere that. So it's pretty simple to adhere this. You just want to use your 13x13 mat, line up your strip there at the top, and then you can put your adhesive down on the top because you're just going to layer on the top of it. So as long as you don't go past kind of that 5.5-inch mark, it'll be fine. And then if you get some adhesive and you're not sure if you have it strong enough, you can always flip it over and add some tape chips to the bottom to get this corner. Make sure I'm flush. I can flip it over and I can put washi tape, photo tape, or some photo splits down here. I got out a box of old ones. I keep using the tape chips on camera, and I was like, I've got to use up these old ones. I feel like I have a forever supply of them. I've had to throw away most of the old regular tape refills, but the photo splits all seem pretty usable. I'm just gonna go ahead and adhere a little bit because I have plenty of time still to even get to 8:30. This has got to be a record for me.
I feel like this record would have an asterisk next to it.
I did not have these hexagons cut until she issued the challenge. But it was helpful, so I kind of knew like what was going to fit, and I reprinted the photos so I could kind of show how they cut differently. I gotta decide if why not use the faces? They're here, right? So where did the other one go? I've lost him. Oh, there he is. It's on the back of the paper. I did text my brother this afternoon. I said, "Are you okay with me putting them on my layout?" I said, "It's your fault that they're absolutely adorable. And we have this new collection." And he said, he said, "So you're telling me you want to use my boys for your financial endeavors?" I said, "No, this is a free class. I'm just trying to make them internet famous. No one's paying any money to see them." The only thing when you're cutting the pictures is if you decide to do it with your photos, I would probably decide how your paper is going to sit on your page so you can decide how you want to cut on your template. Because of the way I cut his face, I might actually go back and cut his again. I have another one printed because when I did cut the inside of this, I would probably rather have the hexagon sit like this. And so his face is kind of at an angle. So I would probably go back and cut it so his face is up. So that's one reason to maybe wait, or else just reprint your photo if you don't like the way it looks. I mean, I don't love tilting things. I know some of you are better at tilting than others. Megan definitely tilts better than me. I can handle a little tilting, but I think that's a little bit too much face tilt. It's like sideways picture. Is that how I had it? Now I'm doubting my paper. It has to be. Next one's out here. I have some pictures from my other brother too. So you might see my other nephew make an appearance with the riveting collection because I don't have any of my own kids doing things like this. I think you guys get the idea. I will finish this up and post it. It's 8:27. I mean, you can keep watching me cut, or we can move on to Megan. She promised hers was simpler. I want to give her extra time in case she was wrong.
I feel like that's always famous last words for me,
Yeah,
but it should be.
it does. It
We're,
just depends on how much you talk about it.
we're just watching you cut and place.
I
And
mean,
so
it's like,
I do have to laugh because I would like you to look at your original picture. Speaking of tilt, when you had those on there, I mean, that picture, it's got some tilt going in it.
this one,
No, the original, the picture above that you haven't cut.
this.
Yes, like his head is pointed.
I mean, I
I'm just
didn't
saying,
take.
I am just saying that by turning his head, trying to straighten his head out, you'd have to tilt the photo, the original photo.
That's
Yeah.
true.
See,
And so it's a challenge too because he was so close to the edge. It was a challenge
yes.
cutting the photo to make sure I could get the template and have him kind of centered. And
Yeah.
I might not really be able to change it because he's so close to the edge of the
It's
picture.
fine.
It's fine. It'll be cute. I mean, no one's going to analyze the way I tilted his head on the page. Although, isn't it funny that we do like obsess over details like this? And in the end, when people flip the page, no one's going to even talk about it. They're going to be like, "Oh, look, I can't believe he had them on the roof." And be like, "I know. I know." All right, your turn.
My turn. All right. All right, so welcome. I am Megan Jax, and I am out in Seattle. I'm excited just because I think the next time we get together, I think daylight savings time will have kicked in. So it will be really nice and sunny here when we get started here on the Pacific uh, time zone. So my layout hopefully is pretty straightforward for everybody. I am going to be using this Sweet on You collection just because I want to play with it a little bit. I don't have any photos for it, but maybe I'll try to get some photos tomorrow. I don't know if I do not have anything for my spouse or my children tomorrow. So I have cards. I have cards. So we'll see how tomorrow goes, what kind of disappointment there is, but I'm pretty certain they don't have anything for me either. All right, so I'm gonna switch over to my overhead cam and we will get started. So I should have my original layout on here. Here is the original layout that I have to share with you. Um, This is part of an album I have been working on is during our Winter Frolic Scrap Challenge. And so these photos, I had this kind of classic pinwheel thing going on. It's just an easy way to put your photos in various orientations. So I wanted to work, some different ways to do things with the pinwheel, and I came up with just having these 4x6 blocks that we will kind of cut on an angle and give us a little bit of detail on the outside edge. And so that should hopefully work out well. I'm just making a quick adjustment. I have a lot of glare on my tabletop, but I think it's because I have photos on there and I always get glare on the photos. So details here, we are going to be punching the top and the bottom of our background page. You're going to need 4 of the 4x6 elements. Hopefully you'll have 2 pairs that coordinate well together. And then we will have the 12-inch border detail. Could be a sticker, could be a punched border. It can be a laser cut border. Just kind of depends on what you have that goes with your theme. So I mentioned that I was going to be using the Sweet on You collection. The background is going to be the white grid. It has the faint pink lines with the hearts. And I will be, to make my 4x6 elements, I'm going to be using the XOXO paper, which has the pink hearts, pink with red hearts on the back. So that is the plan. I have some brown shimmer cardstock that I will be using as well. So that is that's the plan. We will see once we start putting everything together how it looks. Okay, so to get started working through the layout, we are going to want to punch the top and the bottom of our background pieces with a knockout style border maker cartridge. This step is optional. And where I use a knockout style, you can see I use the knockout style because I liked how it looked. But you could, of course, use a chain border across if you want. You could leave it blank. You don't have to put anything there. So you kind of have that option. I am going to be using the retired arrow punch because I think that's cute with the Valentine's Day theme to go with some arrows coming across. So that's where I'm going to punch. And on my original layout that I showed you, we punched all the way across. I am going to change that a little bit, and I am going to just punch the outside, or I'm not going to punch the outside 2 inches. So we'll do 5 punches from the inside edge. That'll leave this outside edge solid. There won't be any punching down in the corners. On the original layout, you can see here by punching all the way across, you can see here where it punched. We're going to stop where it hides underneath the 4x6s. Okay, so to get started, I need to get the border maker system ready to go, and we're going to punch on the top and the bottom edges. So you have to kind of keep in mind, I've got some hearts orienting this, so I want to make sure this is my top edge. Top edge of my left page. This is the one I'm going to skip. This is my outside. Remember, this is my outside corner. I'm going to skip what is essentially slot number 1. So I'll start here at position number 2 and punch down. Then I will flip my paper around. Now my hearts in this case are going to be going, my arrows are going to be going in the opposite direction. So you can see up here, my arrows are going, they're going to go from the outside in. Here, they're going to actually go from the inside out. So you can kind of think about it. If I want everything to lead in the same direction, and I would need to flip my paper over and punch from the other side. But what I'm going to do is go ahead. I'm going to leave it and punch it the opposite direction. So my top set of arrows will be going towards the right. My bottom set of arrows are going to go to the left. Here, though, I don't want to punch in the bottom slot. So I will go ahead and punch the first 5 positions. You really only have to do the first 4. I'm going to be covering up probably this area here, but I'm just going to go ahead and give that 5th slot just to make sure my pattern is done. And then I'm going to do the same on the other page. Now, the one thing I remember though is this is my outside corner here. This is where I don't want to punch. So when I put that in, I'm going to grab it with my thumb and just kind of keep track of that mentally where it is. And I want to go ahead and punch all the way except for the bottom slot. And of course, with the arrows, I do keep those arrows. They're fun. And on this one, here's my space. My space needs to mirror it on the other side. I will not punch the first position, and we'll come down with the other 5. All right, so here we start to see how things are shaping up. Okay, so the one thing I want to do next is I want to put something back behind here. Now, I could easily come in with, this is just a scrap of red cardstock and put that in behind. And that's super cute. I'm going to be making my triangle pieces, mixing these 2 colors together, and that's going to be super cute as well. However, I decided to be a little more elaborate, and I cut some pieces of pink cardstock, red cardstock, and brown shimmer. So what I'm going to do is I plan to come in and I am going to back them in random in the various colors. So what I want here is this should be only, this should be where it ends. I think I want the brown next to my overlap here. And then we'll come in with the red, pink, brown, red, pink, brown, and then I don't know, it should be red. So I'm going to put these, I'll flip the paper over. These are cut as 7/8 of an inch by 2. And I am looking for, where did it go? I had my, oh, there it is. My silicone mat so that I can put it under this when I apply the repositionable adhesive. And I am not going to do this whole thing. I just want to give you guys an idea of what it looks like. The Arrow cartridge or some of these other ones, Arrow, Sunshine, Zebra, you can do it. You can do anyone that has really that nice ability. The one that doesn't really work well to do this kind of this type of thing is the candy stripe, because it's on an angle and it's really hard to get it to come across. It's just the segments. So there you can see those segments. I'm going to do the bottom. So I'll do one page with those pieces in place so you guys can see the effect, and then I'll do the rest. Whoops, got to be careful. I totally ripped off one of my Arrow pieces. I have to retrieve it out of my tape runner. I should be going the other direction with the arrow, not against it. That will help prevent that. My pieces are a little bit too long. All right, so there we go. And like I said, I will do the opposite page. Um, we'll see how much time we have. Remember, we're on a little bit, because we don't have like a wager. I mean, other than to say who, not who can finish first. It was just the past couple times, I think she's, been a little more extensive. So, um, okay, so I've got the background kind of done. We're ready to move on to the next piece, which is to make our to work with our 4x6 pieces. So I am going to be using the same piece of paper. So I'll be using the front and the back. That may or may not be how yours works out. You can use two separate pieces of paper, mats, whatever you have that has the pattern. You just want them to be 4x6. So I'm going to cut one. I need two 4x12 pieces. And then I'll cut these both in half at 6 to get the total of 4x6s. And so you can see here the two different patterns I'm working with. I am working with the pink, the hearts and the XOXO. All right, so now what I want to do, one thing I have going on for me that you may or may not, oh, somebody's making a comment. Do I want to fix my arrow while I haven't lost a piece? Well, I've already lost. Oh, there's a piece. Maybe I should. Thanks for bringing that up. I probably should try to get that put on my page if I can get it off the back. There it is. It is. Little bit of reconstructive surgery there. It's back in place. Thank you for reminding me with that, Janet. Okay. So the one thing with my pink or my 4x6s is I do have a directional paper. I have these hearts. And I really want my hearts to not be upside down. So how I'm going to handle this, because I spent a little more time, I spent the time that Tessa was spending to figure out her hexagons and stuff, I was trying to figure out how to keep my hearts right side up. And so what I'm going to be doing is I am actually going to cut everything with my hearts showing. Now, here's the thing. I am using the same piece of paper and flipping sides. So what I'm ultimately going to do is I'm going to cut here. See how my heart, I want my hearts. I'm pretty certain I want my hearts to be on the inside triangle. So in my sample, in step 3, where you see the gray, that's where I'm going to have my hearts with my red will be on where I show the lighter color. I should have flexibility though to change that if I want, but I'm going to cut everything with the hearts up. So if you do have a patterned paper and you're using the back side, the opposite side, if you have a pattern paper, a directional paper, orient everything in the correct, so that side of the paper is good. Everything's at the top. And then what I'm going to do is I'll be able to cut here. This one will stay, this bottom triangle will stay, and I'll be able to flip the top triangle to the other side. So that should work. I say should. All right, so this first triangle, this is my upper left triangle. I am going to be cutting from the lower left to the upper right, lower left to the upper right. And both of my triangles on this side will be cut the same way. Or my rectangles will be cut the same way, lower left to upper right. Now the rectangles that go on the other column, we're going to cut these from the upper left to the lower right. Upper left to lower right. upper left to lower right. We get my trimmer out of the way. I'm going to put my background paper back in place, and we can start to see how this is going to take shape. So here we go. Here are my pieces. I am going to take these two outside pieces and flip them over and swap sides. So my hearts stay upright. And what worked out really well is XOXO is, it has to go up and down, but it doesn't matter. You can flip it around and it still looks right side up. So with that in mind, I can come over here and kind of place these, put these in place. And I have them about 1/4 of an inch from the outside edge of the paper. Now, the other thing I can do here is I can think about, do I want to change something? So instead of doing, I could have had my pink on the outside with red on the inside. You can see here, I mean, I can leave it like that if you just want a different look. We have more of just that horizontal stripe. Of course, we could have, so that's an or excuse me, that it's not a horizontal stripe, it's a diagonal piece there. But I think, I'm pretty certain I'm going to leave the red on the outside. So I'm going to put these in place. I don't want to put this piece first. I want to put the piece that is actually full 4 inches across the bottom in first, because I'll be able to use the bottom of the paper to help me get it situated. If I'm 1/4 of an inch off the side here, my start of it is actually going to be a 4 1/4. And then it should sit flush along that bottom edge. Then I can come in with the second piece and line it up on that diagonal. I want to keep a nice tight seam if possible along that diagonal and be flush across the top there. And then I'll be able to come in and I can kind of work from the bottom edge here. I want to make sure this seam along here is nice and tight. Where that narrow point of the triangle is, I am making sure to get a good amount of adhesive there, because I want to make sure that when I, put it in my album or, it doesn't come up, it doesn't catch. Second. All right. So there is that side. And we'll go ahead and put the adhesive on and get the other side done as well. once you have the background done, you pretty much just have a base page done. I showed it using some, with a pinwheel configuration because it worked well for the photos that I had. But you can, of course, use any, you just have a very all set to go background. I thought maybe I would be able to use that cute frame, the layered frame that's part of this Sweet on You collection. However, it doesn't quite work with the configuration that I have for the rest of the for the layout, the pinwheel configuration. It will work, I'm sure, if you have another configuration of your photos. So depending on what you have for photos, you'll be able to get that if you wanted to use that the frame. All right. So there we go. So the next thing that I need to do is I do talk about using a border element across the sides. So I punched some brown shimmer with the heart, or is it heart to heart? I don't know, Tessa, is this heart to heart or heart?
To heart.
Heart to heart is one of those heart punches. And that'll go on the outside edge. And then I can show you with that frame, you do have space for the frame in there if you wanted to put it in. It could come in and sit off to the, it's a focal piece in there. With the lighter background, it kind of blends in. It's kind of pale, the pale pink kind of blends in. I don't have any, I should have cut some mats or some photo placement pieces here. You could easily come in something like that and then come in with maybe just some regular 4x6s or 4x5s, 4x4s, something in here. So there's the option to do that. The option that I show you in the layout, I do use some mats as accent pieces if you decide to do the pinwheel configuration. So I have some brown shimmer because it just looks so pretty with these colors. Definitely gives that Valentine's Day vibe. Coming in as such, and then coming in here with the pinwheel configuration. So I don't have any photos to really be able to show you, and it's such a light background, trying to put some of these, well, I'll do my best. Here's just some photos that you can see. Your photo is going to come in, your 4x6 is going to come in about 1 inch from the top. This is using something like the Arrow BMC is going to keep it pretty tight. You've got about 10 inches total. So you're going to be 1 inch from the top and 1 inch from the bottom. Of course, with your pinwheels, you can adjust the size of your photos. You could take these down to a 4x5, which gives you a tighter pinwheel. I could, if I didn't want to go, I could cut these pieces, the vertical ones, to be 4x5s, and that just kind of brings everything down in a little bit tighter if you want to have a little bit more space. But you can see there how that kind of works with those photos there. And the pinwheel, I don't know what it is. I seem to do a pretty good job usually of taking a mixture of vertical and horizontal photos. The pinwheel is just, I don't know, so easy. I'm always looking for different ways to be able to use the pinwheel, like so that every page doesn't just look like the pinwheel configuration. Getting a little bit of variety in there. And so that's how that would work. So I just need to go ahead and do the different arrows, put those pieces in place. And I do need to adhere my border elements on the side here. Since I have 5 minutes left, Tessa, I'm going to come in here. Granted, I didn't talk for 11 billion minutes at the beginning of the episode. So I guess, I will admit, while Tessa was doing hers, I spent a little bit more time prepping some of these elements. I punched the pieces.
It wasn't about your time, it was the fact that I would go over into your time. So there's no way for you to win this.
Yes, there is.
No, it didn't,
There has to be.
there's no answer to it.
I
I
have to be
proved you were
able,
wrong.
I no, I'm not wrong. I guess I can be wrong. I can admit when I'm wrong. I was not, you did it. You did a stellar job today. Everybody's going to be able to get back to their chocolate and wine or their dinners, whatever they may have. You guys should type in if you have some fun plans for tomorrow. I am not the guy, I am not the go out on Valentine's Day type of thing. So I barely can remember to get my husband a card. I don't think I have in a
You know what I'm
while.
missing right now, though? It's the second episode of The Bachelor because the girls have pulled me into the trash. And last night was episode 1 and tonight's episode 2, and I like had to miss it for this. I don't think I can stream it until tomorrow now. That's how much I love you guys.
I am really trying not to roll my eyes at that comment. I did not know you were a Bachelor person.
I
So sorry,
wasn't.
people,
I
if you are,
wasn't.
if you all love The Bachelor, I'm sorry. It's just not my thing.
It's the way I
Um,
bond with my daughters over trashy reality TV.
I would have to, I'm not sure what I would need to watch to bond. Well, my middle child really enjoyed, there was some, for a while, there were some video, like game streamer people that they watched and they tried to tell me all about it. And I just nodded my head and smiled and tried to ask some questions that seemed relevant. And it was very exciting to see how excited they were about it. But I was like, whoa, I need like probably 100 hours of backstory that I don't understand. So, all right. Well, that's what we have for you guys for tonight for Power Hour. My mind, I swear, these days. So we have no idea when the March Power Hour is. I don't think we have that one decided yet, right? Do we? No, we don't.
I'm open every week. This used to be my problem. Now Megan's the one who has her head in the clouds. I'm open. Once she picks the date, makes the graphic, it'll be official.
Well, we will have it ready to go here soon. I might be kind of waiting for to see what a baseball schedule looks like, just in case. I don't know. And not that it matters that much. It either have it or we either have it. I either have a baseball game or it's not a baseball game. So we will get together in March, and then we also do have our National Scrapbook Day. It's a free workshop. We're going to put together the project recipe, and we're going to put together the project booklet. So if you attended our Croptoberfest one, or a year ago we did another National Scrapbook Day, it's a free workshop, and we just put together the projects that Creative Memories has created for us. And so that will be a fun class. It's going to be March 21st. It will be a daytime class, but it will be recorded, of course, so you can watch it later. And you can also watch it at your own pace if you don't have time. It takes us a couple hours to get through those projects. So if you don't have time to watch it all, to do it all in one sitting, you'll be able to just stop, come back to it, and finish putting it together. So NSD, National Scrapbook Day items will go on sale from Creative Memories on February 26th. So just not quite 2 weeks from now. And there will be a free shipping opportunity. So keep your eye out for that one. And so I saw somebody asked if I moved. No, I have not moved. I moved my room. I am now upstairs in my oldest son's room. Obviously, he doesn't have a bed in here anymore. He'll sleep downstairs in what was my scrapbook room where the Murphy bed is. That's where Tessa will also be sleeping. And so it will be a fun time to have. She's coming out to visit me. I have a retreat this weekend, so that'll be a lot of fun. And we'll probably, while she's here, we'll be talking about the various things we have coming up for this spring and a plan for various things. So just right now, we have Power Hour in March. We will have National Scrapbook Day workshop in March. They're both free items or free classes. So we hope you can attend those. If you are signed up, if you got the Power Hour notice, you'll be signed up for the next one. For National Scrapbook Day, we will probably have another registration because it's going to be a separate, I think, right? Are we doing a separate? Yes, Tessa's nodding her head. Yes. So that's all I have for you guys today. I mean, if I stopped talking right now, we'd actually be done at 6. And I'm really excited about that. I mean, I love seeing you
We
all.
could talk more about TV if you want. We can get into the,
I watch Abbott Elementary. I just started that, and I have not watched the new season.
I don't know what that is. I'll have to look that up.
It's funny.
But
Um,
someone mentioned crime drama. For those who like crime drama, have you watched the one Stalked on Netflix? I think it's new. OMG. If you like crime drama, you got to watch that one. It's like, wow. It's wow. That's all I'll say. And you can let me know next month what you thought of it.
I'm counting down days till baseball because that's really all I want to watch on TV is just a baseball. So, Tessa said the name of that a Netflix show is called Stalked. Like I stalked Tessa at the grocery
There's a
store.
stalker in it, obviously.
Stalker, that's it. That's a good one.
Yeah.
So, okay. We will see everybody soon. If you have questions, reach out. We're more than happy to help. Oh, by the way, if you post these in the ideas and inspiration group, use the hashtag. It's at the top of the handout. And we will draw a winner at the beginning of April. So you have clear until February 29th to post. A little hint on there is if you post two separate times, once for my layout, once for Tessa's layout, you have two entries. How fun is that? So, all right, take care, everybody. We will see you soon. Thanks for joining us.